Yaki kaina, nistuana ko ka tatsiki puya. Amo ka kika nutpuki taupima itumu mahka wakika. Yaki na kitsini puhpinana kika. Amos niskaini tapu taksina. We are happy to bring you news of a proposed settlement on one of our land claims that the tribe has been working on for a number of years. In 2003, the Blood Tribe filed a specific claim with Canada's Specific Claims Branch. The tribe alleged that Canada had acted improperly in the taking of 55,000 acres of reserve land and leasing them to the Department of Defense for use as a bombing and gunnery range during World War II between 1941 and 1944, and that the tribe had suffered a loss and need to be compensated. In 2010, Canada validated the claim, agreeing to negotiate the claim on the grounds that it had breached its duty and owed the Blood Tribe compensation for the taking of those lands for use by the DND. Over the last 4 years, the necessary work has been undertaken to determine the losses, value the compensation, and work out the details of a proposed settlement agreement through extended negotiations. To determine what the compensation would be, it was necessary to determine the loss of use and those lands for the 4 years between 1941 and 1944. Experts in agriculture and oil and gas were engaged to conduct loss of use assessment studies. Once those studies were completed, another expert was able to bring the value of that loss forward and express it in today's dollars. The settlement offer is approximately $5.8 million. The Blood Tribe electorate will have the opportunity to accept this offer or not on December the 9th, 2015. If the Blood Tribe electorate votes no and does not accept this offer, there will be no further opportunity to pursue this claim or receive any type of compensation for it now or in the future. Please take full opportunity of the home visits, community meetings, and social media postings to become informed on this important matter to allow you to make an informed decision. We have done the due diligence and believe this is a fair settlement offer. We propose that we use the funds to contribute towards the construction of one or more community facilities, capital projects. We hope that you will agree that the best use of these funds is to put them toward a community facility, capital project that will serve the community for many years to come. We will be able to point to something concrete and say, this is what we have to show for the compensation from the bombing and gunnery range claim. Something we can all use and will be of benefit to our children, our grandchildren, and future generations. Hoping you will be voting yes on December the 9th, 2015, so the Blood Tribe can finally receive proper compensation for a historic wrong done to them 74 years ago. As mentioned earlier, if the Blood Tribe electorate votes no and does not accept this offer, there will be no further opportunity to pursue this claim or receive any type of compensation for it now or in the future. And I want to repeat, if the Blood Tribe electorate votes no and does not accept this offer, there will be no further opportunity to pursue this claim or receive any type of compensation for it now or in the future. At this time, I'm going to turn over the comments to my colleague who happens to sit on the tribal government and one of the negotiating committee, Dorothy First Rider. Dorothy?
Good morning. The Blood Tribe filed the specific claim with specific claims at the urging of elders who had lived through that experience during World War II from 1941 to 1944. They wanted to ensure that the Blood Tribe was compensated for historic wrongs and injustices. The Blood Tribe alleged that the federal crown breached its fiduciary and treaty obligations to the Blood Tribe in respect to the taking and using of those lands for the range. The Blood Tribe alleged that the proper process for leasing Indian lands that was required by the 1927 Indian Act was not followed, constituting a statutory breach by the Crown, and claimed damages for losses suffered as a result. The Ministry of Indian Affairs accepted this claim for negotiations in 2010 on the basis that there is an outstanding lawful obligation on the part of the Government of Canada. Negotiations began in 2010 and were concluded in 2015. A proposed settlement agreement and trust agreement are now subject to ratification by the Blood Tribe electorate on December the 9th, 2015. To determine the compensation that should be paid by Canada to the Blood Tribe for its loss of use for those lands from 1941 to 1944, loss of use studies needed to be completed. Experts in agriculture and oil and gas were engaged to assess the losses suffered by the Blood Tribe as a result of Canada using those lands during the period 1941 to 1944. Once the loss of use reports were accepted by the parties, both parties, another independent expert was retained to calculate the monetary losses in current day dollars. Canada's settlement offers $6,320,007. From this amount, negotiation loan funding of $450,000 will be deducted, as those dollars were provided by Canada to the tribe to cover the costs of negotiations from 2010 to 2015. Negotiation costs included the loss of use studies, legal counsel, and negotiation meetings. After deducting these costs, the balance of $5,869,573 represents the full and final settlement. The parties' negotiation teams then drafted a settlement agreement which set out the terms and conditions of the settlement of the claim. The proposed settlement agreement now has to be ratified by the Blood Tribe electorate, as well as the proposed trust agreement. Blood Tribe Chief and Council decided that the compensation will be placed into a separate trust fund which will be governed by a trust agreement. The compensation will be used toward the construction of one or more public buildings, capital projects for the community. Upon successful ratification of the settlement and trust agreement, and on Chief and Council's direction, Canada will deposit the compensation into a trust account. Once the compensation is deposited into the trust account, it becomes trust property and will be governed by the terms and conditions of the trust agreement. There will be a survey conducted to provide Blood Tribe members an opportunity to identify what community capital projects they would like to see. Once the settlement and trust agreements are ratified and Canada has deposited the compensation into the trust, the survey will then be carried out. In order to safeguard the trust property, the funds will go into a separate trust and can only be used in accordance with the Bombing and Gunnery Range Specific Claim Trust Agreement. If ratified, the Blood Tribe electorate, the trust agreement becomes a legally binding document, and the council, the trustees, and the bank, the financial institution, must abide by its strict provisions. The trustees are required to receive, hold, and use the trust property for the benefit of the Blood Tribe and can only deal with it in the following manner. 1. Prudently invest the trust property in authorized investments. 2. Pay negotiation and ratification costs. 3. Pay authorized expenses. 4. Utilize the trust property for a community capital project. 5. Disperse the annual income or the interest less authorized expenses to the Blood Tribe. There are 8 community information officers going door to door explaining the details on the Bombing and Gunnery Range and providing information material. The information material has been posted on the Blood Tribe website and on the Chief and Council Facebook page and updated as needed. There is an information line 1-888-315 9709, and you can call and request for information packages, and these can be obtained at the Blood Tribe Administration Office as well. There were community information sessions held on November the 18th at the Carriage House Inn in Calgary and November the 25th at the Friendship Center in Lethbridge. There will also be a community information session on Wednesday, December the 2nd, 2015 at the Multipurpose Center in Standoff, beginning at 5:30. And the ratification vote is on December the 9th, 2015 at the Multipurpose Center in Standoff.
Hoping you will be voting yes on December the 9th, 2015, so the Blood Tribe can finally receive proper compensation for a historic wrong done to them 74 years ago. As mentioned earlier, if the Blood Tribe electorate votes no and does not accept this offer, there will be no further opportunity to pursue this claim or receive any type of compensation for it now or in the future.
And I encourage everybody to attend. Thank you.